In Module 2, we are jumping ahead through the entire textbook to Chapter 12, where we get an overview of what experiences and environments should look like regarding math and science development in early childhood. Our first two essential questions are related to each other: the environment and the general guidelines for materials and experiences. They really interweave in early childhood because a lot of what we do should not be teacher directed, right? It needs to be the experiences and the play and the activities, the happenings around the classroom. I'm going to talk about materials for this lecture, and I'm going to try and keep it under 5 minutes. Plastic bears are an example of a material that we find in almost every early childhood classroom. And yet, really, what opportunities are they offering? They offer an opportunity to sort by color, sometimes by size if the set has varied size of bears. They offer an opportunity to count and for lots of quizzical questions. How many bears do you have in that pile? How many bears are in the house? How many bears are on the plate? What color is this bear? Can you point to the green bear? Where is the purple bear? Is that interesting? Is that fun? Is that engaging? The answer to all those questions are no. They are not developmentally appropriate. They really are a waste of money. You could collect bottle caps off of soda bottles, have the same learning experience. Is that really worth the space on your shelf? Pattern blocks. Many of you might have these plastic or wooden, I prefer the wooden ones, pattern blocks in your classroom. If not, it's the one thing I would encourage you to ask your program administrator to purchase this year. I believe they should be in every preschool classroom through 5th grade. Why? The first picture on the upper left-hand side shows how you can create linear patterns with these blocks. It shows how naturally the blocks fit together. And when we offer that natural fitting together, we're developing a spatial sense in the child. They move, and we've often, I'm sure many of you have, pattern cards where the children can create pictures. I'm not one to normally like close-ended, but close-ended has its place. And these close-ended cards allow for a child to explore the relationship with the pieces, and as well to start to develop a sense of creativity, especially if children have not had and been encouraged to look at the clouds and think about what the shapes remind them of, or to take a box full of recyclables and create something out of their imagination. These cards can create a wonderful transition to the more beautiful and creative types of designs that can be built with pattern blocks. An understanding of the pattern blocks then leads to an academic use of the pattern blocks for ratios and fractions. That is why you use them in the much older grades. But every grade can sit and create designs and has a meaningful, thoughtful, critically thinking experience when doing so. When we are selecting materials, we need to be asking ourselves, is this interesting? How might the child use this material? What objectives am I trying to meet with this material? The second and third question here need to have multiple answers. If they do not, then I would encourage you to look for other materials. Your materials in your classroom need to be diverse. They need to be used in multiple ways, or able to be used in multiple ways. This addresses then the question below of, can I meet the learning needs of many or just some with this material? When we are only meeting the learning needs of a few with a material, that means usually there's a better material available. Is it developmentally appropriate? We know that young children learn best through play and social interactions. If the material does not engage the child in play or social interactions, again I would ask, is there a better material? This is one reason why games are so wonderful to use versus a lot of the worksheets and types of activities that you will see on Pinterest. I would encourage you as you look at websites to keep in mind or to question yourself of, is this just a more active way to do a worksheet, or is it truly engaging and playful? Because there's a difference, and I'll talk about that one later. I don't want to overwhelm us. So think about these ideas as you explore selecting materials in an early childhood classroom.